Saudações seres de luz, como estão? Aqui é a Lu novamente aterrorizando suas vidas. Hoje resolvi trazer um vídeo diferente, porém bem legal. Sei que vocês já ouviram muito falar nesse lugar. No entanto, ele continua um mistério, atraindo atenção e despertando fascínio em muitas pessoas. Trouxe para vocês a história da famosa Winchester Mystery House. Curiosidades, detalhes que muitos talvez não saibam. O tema se encontrava em inglês, mas não preocupem, pois incluí tradução e espero que gostem. Cliquem aí no like, comentem o que acharam e se inscrevam no canal para continuar acompanhando, ok? Então, sem mais enrolação, bora pro vídeo! Sarah Lockwood Pardee was born on September 1839, married on September 30, 1862 in New Haven with William Worth Winchester, the only son of Oliver Winchester, founder of Winchester Repeating Arms Company, who developed a rifle that in time would be the fastest of all, which made the Winchester family one of the richest in the United States. In this period, the couple had a daughter, Annie Pardee Winchester, born on July 12, 1866. The child, however, died shortly after, victim of marasmus, which left Sarah inconsolable. She went into a deep mourning. Her pain took almost 10 years to heal. The couple never had another child. And if this suffering were not enough, Oliver dies in 1880, followed by William on March 7, 1881, due to tuberculosis, and Sarah enters a Great Depression. A few days later, in one night, Sarah hears noises, deafening screams, and beating throughout the house, and the phenomenon stays that way for many days in a row. Completely desperate, Sarah turns into a psychic, who in a session informs her that William, her husband, is there with her and has a message. He says that the tormented spirits of the people whose deaths were caused by Winchester's weapons surround her. They are wandering lost around her and with much hatred. The spirits said she should leave her home in New Haven, Connecticut, because her family was cursed, and that she should move west and build a home for herself and the spirits. The medium would also have said that Sarah could appease the angry spirits, however, if she never stopped construction in her home, or else she could be the next. Sarah then travels all over the country until she arrives in San Jose, where she sees a 6-room house still under construction and feels that this is the house that she must bought. Then she begins a reform, building new rooms and rooms in the hope of living in peace. However, the new house did not stop the spirits, which continued to haunt it. Voices and sounds were constantly heard in the house. They would destroy and rebuild rooms without stopping. It increased, diminished, built one room around another. She sealed rooms, opened others, built ladders and stairs that did not go anywhere. There were doors too, which when opened showed an empty room, and rooms with secret passages, as well as mazes and closets that, when opened, showed only walls. All this she did to confuse and discourage the spirits, without light entering. The works in the house never stopped. The workers took turns 24 hours a day to hear the hammers and tools in the building. Sarah did not have a design or plan, as this could teach and alert the spirits. The foreman would come in the morning, and Sarah would give the instructions of what she wanted at the moment, and the next day she could demolish what was done in the day before and rebuild otherwise, so the spirits could get more and more confused. Sarah Winchester's biographer, however, claims that the widow routinely dismissed the workers. She inherited more than $20.5 million. She also received about 50% of the Winchester Repeating Arms Company, giving her a prescription of about 1,000 a day, the equivalent of about 23,000 a day in 2013. This heritage gave her a huge amount of money she used to finance the construction of the residence. A room was built, called the Blue Room, where no one else ever entered while Sarah was still alive. Only she would come in there for her spirit sessions. Legend has it that the room was built as a passage to the other world, and that there it received the spirits during the sessions. Located at 525 South Winchester Boulevard, the Victorian mansion is known for its size, its architectural curiosities, and its lack for any building plan. It is a landmark of California and is protected by the National Register of Historic Places, being privately owned. The property had about 162 acres, but was reduced to 4.5 acres, the minimum needed to the home and annexes nearby. The place has gold and silver chandeliers and a wide range of colors and decoration materials. Due to Mrs. Winchester's debilitating arthritis, special stairs were installed. Comfort items were rare at the time of the construction. The mansion had forced air steam heating, 3 elevators, one of which was powered by a horizontal pistol valve. Mrs. Winchester never spared the decor, which contributed to her architectural beauty. Many of the stained glass windows were created by the Tiffany Company. The house was already 7 stories high, countless rooms, several fireplaces, and countless windows, when in 1906 an earthquake destroyed part of the house and threw the last 3 floors on the floor. The destroyed rooms were sealed and new rooms were built around them, because she believed that the spirits that there were at the time of the earthquake would be forever imprisoned. The house is predominantly made of red wood, the widow's favorite wood. About 78,000 liters of paint were used to paint the house. Built using a floating base, this type of construction allows the house to move freely since it's not completely attached to its brick base. It was said that the mansion already had between 500 or 600 rooms, but due to so many reconstructions, only 160 remain, including 2 halls, one completed and one unfinished, as well as 47 fireplaces, more than 10,000 glass panels, 17 chimneys, with evidence of 2 others, 2 basements and 3 elevators. The number 13 appears everywhere, ceilings with 13 panels and 13 coat hooks in the waiting room, as well as the decorative pattern of spider's web. Ooh, now that's what I call a big and confusing house. Under Sarah's supervision, the building was maintained 24 hours a day for 38 years, from 1884 to 1922. After a spiritist session in the Blue Room, Sarah went to sleep and died during a sleep at the age of 83, when the works were immediately over. The total cost to maintain its construction during this time was estimated at $5.5 million, equivalent to $71 million in 2010. When Sarah died, all her possessions went to her niece and her personal secretary. Her niece then took everything she wanted and sold the rest to a private auction. At each count, a different number was reached. It was impossible to know how many rooms the house had. The place was so confusing and so full of labyrinths that the workers needed 6 trucks working 8 hours a day for over 6 weeks to remove the furniture from the house. The mansion was sold at an auction to a local investor for $135,000 in February 1923, 5 months after Winchester's death. The house was opened to the public, with Mame Brown serving as the first tour guide. Harry Houdini visited the mansion in 1924 and called the site of Mystery House. Today, it is owned by Winchester Investments, LLC, a privately owned company that represents the descendants of John and Mame Brown. The house retains unique touches that reflect Mrs. Winchester's beliefs and her concern about driving away malevolent spirits. It is listed as the largest house in California, with an unknown number of rooms. Perhaps we can never know for sure if Mrs. Winchester built her house to accommodate the spirits, but over the years, the story ended that she believed that her life was inevitably affected by abandoned souls. Presumably, she wanted to be friends with the good spirits and avoid the bad spirits. And the way to be friendly with the good spirits, it seemed, was to build a good place to visit. Today, the house is a popular tourist destination for amateur ghost hunters, hoping to catch a glimpse of one of Winchester's trapped spirits, or, if lucky, Sarah Winchester herself. E aí, o que acharam do vídeo? Vocês teriam coragem de morar em uma casa assim? Ou talvez só passar uma temporada, um fim de semana? Quem sabe, dividir os aposentos com algumas assombrações? Esse foi o vídeo de hoje. Comentem mais ideias. Obrigada por assistir e nos vemos no próximo. Fui!